This week in Jamaica Now. No planting. Police reject claims cop tried to plant gun magazine in motorist's car. The Ruel Reid fraud trial. Prosecutors allege the former education minister's helper did not know she was on public university's payroll. Printer links to gunmaking seized as 3 alleged gangsters are shot dead by police in St. Catherine, and over 80% of Jamaica's human trafficking victims are children. I'm Karen Madden, and this is Jamaica Now. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is rejecting social media claims that a policeman tried to plant a gun magazine in a motorist's vehicle during a traffic stop in Nago Head, Portmore, St. Catherine on Sunday. A video captured by the vehicle's occupants has gone viral. Senior Superintendent Dennis Brooks, the JCF's senior communications strategist, told the Nationwide Radio on Monday that the magazine accidentally fell from the officer's ballistics vest onto the back seat of the vehicle.
The video has been seen by members of the High Command. Yes, it is a matter that has been brought to the attention of the police in the St. Catherine South Division where this incident took place. But I think that...
When did it take place, sir?
I beg your pardon?
When did it take place? And where?
To my knowledge, the information that I have at this time would suggest that it took place yesterday in the St. Catherine South Division in the vicinity of Nago Head.
Okay. Go ahead.
The information that I have is that the police saw a vehicle speeding out of the gas station. There were men in the vehicle who were shirtless. Out of just due diligence, the police stopped the vehicle. The men said that they were coming from playing football. They asked to search the vehicle. They were allowed to search the vehicle. The men said that they wanted to record. Police said, sure, go ahead and record. There are protocols. You're going to search a vehicle. You have to search it in the presence of the person. So they are obviously watching the search take place. The information that I have is that while the search, the officer's rifle was handed to his colleague and he began to search the vehicle. However, there was one magazine that he had lodged in his ballistic vest, and he searched the front and rear of the vehicle, and while exiting the vehicle, the magazine was dislodged and left on the seat. It was brought to his attention by the young men, to their credit, and they were actually commended for bringing it to his attention, and he retrieved his magazine. I think it would have been extremely foolhardy on his part to try to plant the government's magazine with the government's rounds that he signed for when he would have left the station, and he would have had to have given an account for when he reached back to the station. It is the whole conversation, while it is good to raise questions, senior counsel, who I have a great deal of respect for, said that it was chilling. I find his comments chilling because if I could scrape up the large sums of money to if I needed counsel, I would turn to him if it was me in this matter, because he would have noted, I would imagine, that video is obviously edited. And if it is obviously edited, you don't know how much editing took place. Because watching the video, it is clear that you're not watching the sequence in chronological order. You're watching the end of the video and then the beginning of the video.
He said the officer reported being unaware that the magazine had dropped. When asked if there's a policy requiring officers to remove items before a search, SSP Brooks said clear search procedures exist, but declines to comment further, citing an ongoing internal probe. A 3D printer believed to have been used to make gun parts was among several items seized during coordinated police operations across St. Catherine on October 11. 3 alleged gangsters, including one of the island's most wanted men, were shot dead by the police. Senior Superintendent Tufton Nicholson said investigators suspect the printer was producing firearm components such as suppressors, describing it as a worrying new trend in the criminal underworld.
What you see here is a 3D printer, a very unique 3D printer, and it can be used, and based on all investigations so far, it was being used to print firearm paraphernalia. These are the filaments that were being used. This is one of the things that were used. It is used to place on this mount. This is a thermal mount. It also has night vision capabilities. This is also another thermal mount, and this is one of the items that was printed from this printer to put on it. It is also capable of printing suppressors. Most people know it as silencers that can be placed on firearms, and they are capable. It also can be used to print ghost guns, plastic firearms that can be used that are operable as well. Maybe not as durable, but they are also operable.
Among the dead is Brian Breaker King, reputed leader of a Klansman gang faction, who was killed in a shootout with police in Kitson Town. 2 others, Andre Bob Lee Johnson and Fabian Robinson, were fatally shot in separate operations in Spanish Town and Linstead, where 3 guns and several rounds of ammunition were seized. Police say the raids dealt a major blow to organized crime in the parish. After a week-long manhunt, police have captured the security guard accused of stealing more than $15 million from a Beryllium courier vehicle. The police confirmed that the 42-year-old, employed to Guardsman Limited, was arrested late Thursday at premises in St. Andrew. Guardsman Group, of which Beryllium is a member, did not say if the stolen cash has been recovered. The guard reportedly disappeared with the money during a collection run at Megamart Shopping Center in St. Andrew on October 11. A domestic helper unknowingly placed on the Ministry of Education's payroll is among the shocking allegations in the $25 million fraud case involving former Education Minister Ruel Reid and ex-Caribbean Maritime University President Professor Fritz Pinnock. Prosecutors told the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court this week that the helper employed at the Reid's home was allegedly paid by the ministry without her knowledge. The prosecution claims Reid, his wife Sharon, and daughter Sherelle helped her open a bank account, then kept her ATM card to access the funds. Lead prosecutor Ashtel Steele said this was part of a broader scheme between 2016 and 2019, through which Reid, his family, Pinnock, and Jamaica Labour Party councillor Kim Brown Lawrence allegedly conspired with others to defraud the Ministry of Education and the CMU. She claimed public funds were siphoned off through fake contracts, sham jobs, and bogus invoices. Pinnock, as a CMU president, is accused of authorizing and facilitating the creation of fraudulent vouchers that enabled the unlawful transfer of funds. Jamaica Labour Party councillor Kim Brown Lawrence is accused of working with Reid and Pinnock to facilitate CMU payments, allegedly receiving money she knew or should have known was fraudulently obtained. The prosecution also intends to argue that under the Proceeds of Crime Act, the accused not only received and transferred criminal property, but took deliberate steps to keep control of the funds, sometimes by channeling them through third parties or receiving cash directly. The prosecution plans to call 92 witnesses, including banking and communications experts, to trace how millions allegedly flowed into accounts controlled by the accused. Spanish Town Mayor Norman Scott pleaded not guilty on Monday to charges of assault and destruction of property when he appeared before the St. Elizabeth Parish Court. The charges stem from an election day altercation in which Scott, a People's National Party representative, is accused of hitting Jamaica Labour Party election supervisor Julie Francis in the face and damaging her glasses. His attorney, Charles Gangasingh, insists Scott was instead attacked by a mob of JLP supporters and will be vindicated when the evidence is presented. Senior Parish Court Judge Steve Walters ordered Scott to return to court on November 27. More than 80% of human trafficking victims in Jamaica between 2020 and 2025 were children, a staggering figure that officials say underscores the country's deep vulnerability to the crime. National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons, Diane Gordon Harrison, revealed the data while addressing the Jamaica Baptist Union Historical Society's George Leal Lecture in St. Andrew on October 12. She said children aged 11 to 17 are the primary targets, mostly girls exploited by people they know. Gordon Harrison noted that trafficking in persons is a multi-billion-dollar global industry that often happens within homes and local communities, not just across borders. More than 100,000 Jamaicans convicted of minor, non-custodial offences over 20 years ago could soon have their criminal records automatically cleared under new legislation now before Parliament. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, piloting the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill, said the move is aimed at giving people who have paid their debt to society a second chance. The bill proposes automatic expungement for offences committed and satisfied before January 1, 2005, once no new convictions have occurred. Opposition spokesperson on justice Zalika Jess welcomed the measure but urged the government to go further, suggesting broader automatic expungement to reduce Jamaica's expungement backlog. Former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson has condemned the United States drone attacks on vessels in the Caribbean, calling them fundamentally dangerous and a horrible erosion of regional sovereignty. Since September 2, U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered strikes on at least 5 boats allegedly carrying drugs to the U.S., killing 27 people. Patterson says the actions violate the Caribbean's long-held declaration as a zone of peace, first established by regional leaders in 1972. Some leaders, including Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, have supported the U.S. campaign. However, others, like Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley and St. Vincent's Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, have expressed alarm over growing militarization near Venezuela. Patterson is urging CARICOM, chaired by Jamaica's Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, to urgently adopt a united position. Foreign Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith has not yet responded to emailed questions from the Gleaner on Jamaica's stance. Dr. Holness chaired a meeting of CARICOM leaders on Thursday. In a social media post, he said discussions focused on deepening regional integration, promoting economic resilience, and advancing collective security and development across the Caribbean. There was no mention of the U.S. strikes. Sharp words were exchanged in Parliament on Tuesday between Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and Opposition spokesman Dr. Alfred Dawes. Dr. Tufton outlined the government's plans to prevent a dengue outbreak, but Dr. Dawes dismissed the update as out of touch and accused the minister of using media distractions to avoid accountability on wider health issues. Minister Tufton reported 375 dengue cases so far this year and warned of possible increases later this month. Dr. Tufton's parliamentary statement came a week after the release of an Integrity Commission investigation report, which accused him of indirectly influencing the health ministry's engagement of one of his friend's companies, Market Me, for a physical fitness campaign. Neither Dr. Tufton nor the friend, Lindsay McDonough, declared their connection. Jamaica's population has grown by just 2.8% over the past decade, the slowest rate in decades, according to the long-awaited 2022 Population and Housing Census released by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, STATIN. The report shows that the population now stands at 2.77 million, with births falling, deaths rising, and the continued migration slowing overall growth. STATIN's Director General, Leisha Delatibadir, says if the trend continues, Jamaica's population could begin to decline. The census, delayed by COVID-19 and internal challenges, faced irregularities, including missing data collection devices and a break-in at STATIN's census office. Despite the issues, STATIN insists the data are secure and reliable. St. Catherine recorded the biggest growth, while Hanover remains Jamaica's smallest parish. Police are investigating 2 suspected suicides, one involving a university student and the other a police officer. In St. Elizabeth, police are probing the death of Constable Arnold Wilson, whose body was found hanging from a tree in his yard in Williamsfield on Wednesday afternoon. Wilson, assigned to the Halfway Tree Police Station in St. Andrew, was reportedly on leave following the death of a close relative. And at the University of the West Indies, Mona, a 20-year-old student, was found dead in her dorm room early Thursday morning. The university has activated counseling services for grieving students. Both cases remain under investigation. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications, and subscribe today. I'm Karen Madden.